Hi, I'm Bill Panoff with Porthole Cruise and Travel, and we are here in Juneau, the capital of Alaska, to board Uncruise's Wilderness Discoverer, and we're super excited to take you along with us.
Yes, Juneau is a capital city, but its location midway through the Inside Passage makes it also one of cruising's most important ports of call. Ride the tram to the top of Mount Roberts and you will get an eagle's eye view of this picturesque city that feels more like a hometown.
We're about to set sail on Wilderness Discoverer, a 7-day voyage, Glacier Bay cruise, 2 days in Glacier Bay. It's going to be super exciting, and we're even more excited to be able to interview the CEO and president of Uncruises, Captain Dan Blanchard. Captain Dan, how are you? A pleasure to meet you in person.
It's great to be here in Juneau on what, April 16th, Bill, and the sun is out.
The sun is out and your vessel is right behind us, the Wilderness Discoverer, and we are very, very excited to sail.
Yeah, me too. I mean, this is the time of year where we in Alaska call it the painting season, because this is our driest time of year, which is pretty amazing.
Because of the size of the vessel, you have a huge advantage over the larger ships to be able to navigate and go to ports and destinations that the larger ships are just physically not able to go into.
Oh yeah, it's so true. I mean, you know, when we talk about the Inside Passage, for instance, we are on the narrow passageways that the large ships can't use. They're using the outer passageways, which are, 20, 30 miles wide. And so we're traveling into little nooks and crannies. I like to say, and the reason we started on cruise, if you were on my sailboat with me, I want to take you to those same places you would go with me on my sailboat in the same manner and show you the best of the best.
Right. Part of the experience is wildlife, to get up close and personal with the wildlife of Alaska, and it's very, very unpredictable. What can guests expect to see on this voyage?
Well, typically the opportunity to see whales is very, very high. Humpback whales, orcas, or killer whales as people know them. And of course bears. This is the time of year where we have bears coming down into town in the evening. Chance to see brown bears and black bears out on the islands. It's really just a great place for not only mammals, but bald eagles, you name it.
And what about kayaking? Is it possible to have a whale breach in front of me as I'm kayaking? Can you arrange that?
I've got that planned for you. I think that's in 2 minutes right now. Obviously, it happens, and that's the thing about getting in the outdoors. We're not working on, our clock. We're working on nature's clock. So we just look out for the areas where there's critters and go to that area. Another
attractiveness of the voyage is that it's kind of like a digital detox. There's no Wi-Fi on the ship, and your guests prefer that.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of digital detox and getting away unconnected is so important to our guests, because they realize that when they shut it down, they spend more time at happy hour talking to each other. They're late at night on the bow looking at northern lights, which good chance we're going to have this week.
So now we switch hats, we switch roles. I'm the CEO of Uncruise, Bill Panoff, and this is Dan Blanchard, the publisher of Porthole Cruises and Travel.
There we go. I've got a new job, but I do have to check under your fingernails, because you're going to have to be willing to get your hands dirty, Bill. But this is the classic start of our driest season of year. In fact, back in the old days, before you all came up here, we used to call this the painting season. That means that the itinerary that may have been written in the brochure may be changed dramatically to make this the best week we can make for you.
Stepping on board the Wilderness Discoverer, I feel the excitement of adventure already building up inside.
We just boarded the ship, and before we get settled, let me show you around.
Stationary bikes and fitness equipment where you can breathe in the fresh, clean air is great motivation for keeping up with the workouts. The Admiral's cabin is cozy like a mountain lodge. A comfortable bed, shower, and space to relax await you when you return from a day's adventure. And the Trailblazer's cabin is great for friends traveling together. After kayaking and hiking all day, a great place to soothe the muscles and relax is in the hot tub with a glass of wine or a drink. Then join your shipmates for a delicious dinner and a nightcap at the bar before heading off to get a good night's rest before tomorrow's adventure begins. Sailing out of Juneau, the team keeps a watchful eye for what lies ahead, and nature gives us some breathtaking views and sets the stage for what's to come. We wake up just in time to cross the more than 27 miles of Tracy Arm. A cup of hot coffee while taking in the views on deck, and a hearty breakfast before the full day of activities begins. Ice still floats in the glacial waters. Pine trees can be seen for as far as the eyes can see. A lonesome otter swims alongside our ship, and then we arrive at the magnificent Sawyer Glacier. A quick lesson and safety tips gets us ready for kayaking. The ship gets as close as it can to the South Sawyer Glacier, but an ice sheet keeps us from getting too close. If only I could paint. The ice and snow-covered glacier was ready for its portrait, but a camera will have to do.
Take a look around. This is spectacular. The fjord cliffs almost reach the heavens.
Love seeing the mountain goats do their fancy footwork on the cliffs. Just about to go kayaking here in Tracy Arms. We're going to be out there for about 2 hours, just like these folks are kayaking. And I have a guide that's going to take me all around this wonderful glacier. And from there, we're coming back just in time for dinner. The crew launches the kayaks for us. We get our safety vests on and off we go. How fantastic is this? Kayaking right up to the glacier, nearly touching it, and feeling the spray of its waterfall against my face is a memory forever etched in my mind.
Good morning, everyone. It is a glorious day. We are here in the Kiku Islands, and just next to the Kiku Islands is the Kuyu Islands with the highest density of black bears. I can't wait to go ashore and explore.
A bird's eye view of the Kiku Islands shows us how beautiful and remote these islands really are. And there are lots of opportunities to capture the wildlife in its natural habitat. Some of my shipmates went kayaking again, while some of us like me have other plans.
We just took the skiff from the ship and we're given a panoramic view of the Kiku Islands. We just arrived here. Our guide is going to take us around the island and show us all the island has to offer.
So this is a metamorphic rock right here, and it actually came right from that lava plug.
A walk along the shore and into the forest brings you right into the heart of the Kiku Islands. You never know what you may come across. And again from above, you see how we have navigated our way through all the islands of pine. We end the day with a skiff tour around the islands. We come across a bevy of playful otters, everyone's favorite. The skiffs are a great way to get around because they can take you right up to the shoreline. Our guide is always keeping an eye open for wildlife. He always seems to know where to go and what to look for. When the skiff motor shuts down and we are just gliding along, the sights and sounds are so calming, you could almost meditate. And when the sun goes down, it creates the most beautiful orange and red reflection on the water, which makes you forget that just a short while ago, the water was as blue as a morning glory flower.
And one. This time when you extend, look for the birds in the sky in a formation.
Nothing like breathing in the fresh air of the Pavlov Harbor and doing morning stretches. We are here in Chichikov Island, which, by the way, is the 5th largest island in the US. We're taking a relaxing skiff ride along the coast into one of the world's largest population of bears. Does that sound relaxing?
Have fun. Don't get lost.
We got life-ring, extra life jackets for everybody, and that is why we are all wearing life jackets. I am wearing a Type 3 PFD. I got a work vest because I'm working. So.
There's always a chance of seeing a bear. Remember, all of us guides here are trained very thoroughly on bear behavior. What I'm gonna do is we're all gonna try to crouch down as much as we can. I'm gonna talk to the bear, hey bear, hey bear, hey bear. And if it keeps coming towards us, what we're all gonna do, on the count of 3, 3, 2, 1, we're all gonna stand up. And the bear's gonna go, whoa, what's this giant thing that just stood up off the ground?
As we prepared for our bear encounter, which our expedition guides seem very relaxed about, we begin to do some eco-meandering, which simply means walking near the shore. We identify some sea life and even found some things to nibble on.
It's like a grouping.
This is their scrotum. So you can eat them either at the nuts right here. And it gives a very pungent taste, salty as you can imagine.
Actually, it's very tasty.
Yeah, right?
Deeper into the forest, we discovered some rapids, which are typically feeding spots for bears. We are going on a bushwhack, which means a walk inside the trees. And I literally did just that. I walked on the trees. Our guide led the way and often pointed out things like animals that may have been in the area.
We're gonna go to the end of the island. This is black-tailed Sitka deer hair. It was found right here on this little stick, like they were trying to jump over it and just caught a bunch of hair. And this is from their underside, just from its thickness and the coloration.
As we continue our bushwhack, we see there's plenty of snow still on the mountains of pine, while the pine trees where we are walking tower above us. The contrast of the water's edge with the bald mountains piled high with snow in the background make for a picture-perfect postcard. We are positioned in the middle of Nika Bay, surrounded by snow-capped mountains. Our skiff glides along the glassy waters to a nearby island to do some more eco-meandering. Islands of dense pine forests surround us as some more otters follow us around the bay. A pair of boots is a wardrobe necessity when navigating the rocky shores. Look at the size of this Dungeness crab. You know, these guys play a huge role in the ecosystem here in Alaska. This is a baby starfish right there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna touch him because I don't want to scare him too much. But you can see right here, he's
As you walk the beaches here, you find thousands upon thousands of shells, and not two of them look alike. We are off again, my new favorite way to navigate the waters of Alaska. Of all my travel experiences, this has to top the list. Kayaking in Nika Bay, Alaska. When you think you've experienced Alaska, a day like this shows you really haven't, unless you take a cruise like this.
Good morning, Wilderness Discoverers. I know it is only 2 a.m., but this wake-up call is to let you know that the northern lights are outside and shining this evening. So if you want to get up, please head to the top deck and take a look at the northern lights.
Surrounded by mountains packed with feet of snow, whales and otters. Can you guess where we are? Today we are in Glacier Bay National Park. The beauty and stillness is overwhelming, and where we are going today, only a few get to see.
Bottom 2 feet coming up. Bottom 1 foot coming up.
Hiking up the mountains, I felt almost like one of the goats. Only the goats climb the cliff much better than I do. Once you get through some wooded areas and to the top of the lower mountains, the views are amazing. The way the light hits the waters in Glacier Bay makes for some spectacular photos.
I'm proud of all of you.
An avalanche reminds us of the power of nature. Going back down the mountain is a little easier and a lot of fun. I wish I had my snow tube. We continue our journey through Glacier Bay.
You know, Glacier Bay National Park is nearly the size of Connecticut. You need at least 2 days just to get a taste of it.
As the seasons change, so does Glacier Bay. From spring to summer, ice sheets will shrink and eventually melt away. Glaciers like John Hopkins Glacier will retreat further from the sea, and chunks of ice will fall into the waters. The surrounding beauty is reflected in the glacial waters, like a mirror does so perfectly.
We just passed South Marble Island, a sanctuary for rare birds and wildlife sightings.
We board a skiff to go on the ice garden tour at Lamplugh Glacier. This is, to put it simply, walking on and around blocks of ice. The melting glacier creates a rushing river to the sea and causes a portion of the wall of ice to come crashing down, sending waves ashore. The blue ice of the glaciers and all the surrounding blocks look like giant gemstones, so beautiful. This cruise has been extra special for me. Having been cruising for over 40 years, I have never experienced Alaska and all of its beauty like I did this week on Cruise. Thank you to all the crew, and special thanks to Dan Blanchard for making this such a special experience. I have been moved.